Well, hello, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Aaron Fritz, and my company is Inertia Legal, and we are happy to host a joint presentation between Inertia and MetaJure to discuss MetaJure Illuminate. A little bit more about Inertia. We have been doing legal tech consulting for 20 years consecutively as a company. We focus on document management systems of all kinds, obviously the point of today's webinar, but we also do case management, billing, and e-discovery solutions. And we try to put best practices in place for all clients and really be a student of really what the best legal tech solutions are for all of our clients and play a consultative role for the long term. So we're excited to be on this call here today and excited to show a very interesting product that has been a compelling solution for many of our clients. So just a few housekeeping matters before we jump into it. All attendees that have joined this webinar are currently in listen-only mode, which means you're muted. You can simply type in any questions you have into the chat bar on your screen, and we will review those later. We will be answering questions at the end of the presentation, and we will try to answer all of those questions. If we don't have time, our apologies. We will follow up. Rest assured, we will get back to you. And last but not least, we are recording the webinar today. So look for an email from us in the next day or so with a link to the recording and additional information. So like I said before, today we are going to be talking about MetaJure. MetaJure is already working with thousands of lawyers across the country to help index and really provide Google-like searching for all of the documents within their law office. MetaJure provides an intuitive and easy-to-use solution for managing, again, all the information around your firm and help you find all the emails and documents in your firm instantly, no matter where they are located. And of course, we'll unpack exactly what that means within the demonstration. So MetaJure Illuminate was designed for firms that already have document management systems. It works seamlessly along World Docs, Net Documents, iManage, and other practice management and case management systems, so you can find emails and documents instantly, whether or not they make it into your central document management system or not. And that's really the idea behind MetaJure and Illuminate, is to say, we know what's in our shared drive and we know what's in our document management system, but what are the documents that are outside of that? How do you search the documents that you don't know exist? And that's the exact purpose that MetaJure Illuminate seeks to answer, is illuminating the dark data in a system so you can access all data at all times. So getting into that, and one last note, MetaJure in its primary form can also be used as a non-traditional document management system. So for you attendees that don't have World Docs or Net Documents or another document management solution, or DMS for short, already in place, MetaJure is a compelling solution that we can put in place at your office to put in a form of document management today without having to implement something with more structure and more burden to get off the ground, say like World Docs. So we have two special guests to show you how attorneys are getting an edge in their practices and in the courtroom using MetaJure. And at this point, I'm going to turn this over to MetaJure's Dan Mintz, who will also introduce Steffi Yadnak, one of the attorneys who works with MetaJure, to conduct a demo for you all. Are you ready, Dan?
I'm ready, Aaron. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
My pleasure.
I just want to, yeah, thanks. I want to let you know I'm here today to talk about MetaJure, because the bottom line is that we're all spending way too much of our valuable time searching for documents and emails. And so MetaJure was designed by lawyers for lawyers to help you find information around your firm quickly and effortlessly without having to disrupt your daily workflow. Okay? So the question is, why is finding information such a problem? And I have to say a lot of it really has to do with the increase in the amount of electronic information. and we've just seen a big increase across law firms. In fact, what we've seen, in the reason that a lot of firms are moving to MetaJure right now is that there's a big increase, and we track with our own clients. About last year, the average lawyer created or received about 26,000 documents and emails during the year, or 70 to 80 a day, and the numbers are growing. In fact, we've tracked a 30% increase in electronic information over a 2-year period. A lot of that's email. So if you see on my slide, the orange, the emails increased a lot. There's more and more laws being transacted via email. But there's also been a lot more electronic documents as firms are going more paperless, which is a good thing. But with that, there are challenges, and one of the big challenges is that it's kind of around the dark data. That basically, the information around the firm is difficult to access, and the volume of data really is growing faster than we can file it, especially email. This is where it does become difficult with traditional document management systems. There's so much information, it's hard to get everything in there. Email is very difficult. We're bombarded with email daily. It's hard to get into a document management system. But it's hard to find information that didn't get filed. So we call that, again, the dark data. Kind of like my iceberg slide, the information beneath the surface. You may just see the tip of the iceberg. There's that information that's around the firm somewhere in different locations that may be difficult to access. But it's hard to become more efficient as a firm if you don't have easy and quick access to everything. And that's really a key challenge that we're solving with MetaJure. So what MetaJure is doing is we're connecting up to information all over the firm. We're automatically indexing everything. You don't have to actually put information into MetaJure. It's going to do that automatically. You're not having to change your daily workflow at all, and getting information out of the system is really pretty much as easy as using Google. So if you can use Google, you can pretty much use MetaJure. So it's going to work seamlessly on top of an existing DMS, and not have to change anything. You just keep putting in whatever you put into your DMS. If you don't have a DMS, it's going to connect up to your information on your file share wherever your information resides. But again, no work to do that. So just a little bit on the approach. MetaJure is, first of all, the primary software resides on a server. Typically, it's a server behind your firewall, but can be hosted. But there's also a little agent called MetaSync. We refer to as the MetaJure robot, and that sits on the local PCs, and that's connecting up to the local Outlook client. It's grabbing email automatically. So it's grabbing email, the attachments, and the metadata around the email, which could be who email is sent to, received from, the subject, the folder you drag it into. So it's grabbing all that automatically. No one's thinking about that. But I want to mention that with email, this is really key, is that you have full control over how that email gets shared. So really, by default, the email is not shared. You always see your own email and the email that's been shared with you. So just want to mention that you've got control over that. And just because the agent's sitting on the PC doesn't mean it's all opened up to everybody. But again, this is to do that, to collect it, index it, all automated process. And everything else. So MetaJure is connecting up to all other repositories that you want us to point to where information is, i.e. file shares, archives. Of course, it's got a DMS in place, practice management system, litigation database, client documents, etc. Any repositories you have, we're going to connect up and index that information. And so when someone's searching in MetaJure, they're searching across everything across the firm and able to see everything that they've got permission to see. So if they don't have permission to see something, it doesn't even show up in MetaJure. So basically, everybody's got a little bit different search results based upon the permissions that they have. Okay. So another piece that's very, very key here is that we're automatically OCR image PDF. For those of you who don't know what OCR is, optical character recognition. Basically, what that means is it translates the image-only PDFs that are a result of scanning documents, translate those into a text searchable document. And so if you haven't turned that on when you scan, or especially, we find a lot of the non-OCR PDFs come in via email attachments. People scan documents, they email it to you. We're gonna detect all that. Anytime a PDF has not been OCR to make it text searchable, we're gonna just do it. It's an automated process. Nobody has to think about. And we want to make sure that everything is text searchable, so you're not always so reliant on how information was saved and how it was named, because we all know what happens is it just doesn't always happen. So we always know we're at least capturing the text of every document also. And then last, what everyone gets is a very nice, easy, intuitive interface. It's presented within a web browser. It can be easily retrieved on mobile devices. Outside the office, we find that a lot of our clients are now using it on tablets, iPads. We've got litigators using it in court on the fly, and it's nice to be able to have this very easily used out of the office too, and of course all secured. Okay. So with that, I want to go ahead and introduce you to Stephanie Yednak. And Stephanie practiced law for about 5 years before coming to MetaJure. And she's going to show you how the product works to save you valuable time and optimize your practice.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you everyone for being here today. As Dan said, I practiced for just over 5 years. I did insurance defense litigation before coming over to MetaJure at the end of last year. And when I practiced, I used two different document management systems. I used Practice Master and ProLaw, and found them both to be pretty frustrating as far as finding documents went, and spent a lot of time looking for documents, emailing about where documents are. And once I learned about MetaJure, my first thought was really, why doesn't our firm have this? So I know we have some firm administrators and IT professionals here today, so I think that's great that you're here and can hopefully bring these ideas back to your firm. And I really wish my firm administrator would have done that. What I'm going to do, so I'm going to show you, this is our demo site that we're on that you can see on your screen. I'll tell you a little bit about our demo site, and then I'll show you some examples. So over here on the left, these are all the locations that MetaJure has indexed. So at your firm, you would see any drives or data repositories, any document management systems such as WorldDocs, where you keep documents. And then down here, these are filters that you can use when you're searching for documents, to filter by the type of document or by the date of document. And you can also filter by location here. And then right here, you see most recent documents available, and the index is updated nightly. So you'd see the documents from the day before added to the most recently available documents. Up here is where you search for documents. So when I practiced, one of the most frequent occurrences I ran into was needing to draft a brief on a particular issue. And as an attorney, you never want to start from scratch. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. So the first thought is always, is there a similar brief that I can work from to get started on this? And no, the last one I remember this happening about, it was a motion for rehearing, and that was a time-sensitive motion. I think it was 7 days to file it from the date of the order, and I did a search on in our ProLaw search for it, and nothing came up. And I knew it was something that someone at the firm had to brief this issue before. Nothing came up in the ProLaw search, so I sent a firm-wide email, which was the next step that everyone did at my firm, was send a firm-wide email asking if anyone had briefed this issue, and didn't get a response. And then I did end up sending, because it was a really busy week, I was in trial, really didn't have time to do the research on this. I sent an email to a listserv and didn't get a response. And then it was a couple days later, I finally had a partner email me a copy of the brief he had written a couple years prior that I hadn't been able to locate in ProLaw. And that had, a couple days went by before I got it. And when you're working on a time-sensitive motion like that in the middle of a really busy week, I really wish I could have found it just right away when I looked for it. So if I would have had MetaJure, this is what I would have done. I would have just come to MetaJure and kind of typed in motion for rehearing right up there. And, immediately got 379 documents. It's looking everywhere. It's not limiting the search to just pro laws. It's going to be looking in desktops and emails. And as Dan said, everyone does control what they share in email. So that's something to keep in mind. But you can see right here. So that looks like the type of rate that I would have wanted to work off, a joint motion for rehearing. Click right there, and in the preview pane, all of the searches are highlighted. And then to open it, I would just click open, and it's popping up in my other window here. But let me see. So just opening the document just like you would if you went about it, opening it from World Docs or on your shared drive. And it's a smart search. So you can see it's coming up. These top results have motion for rehearing in the title of the document. So the smart search is looking at both the content and the context. You can change that, and you can filter by date, go newest to oldest or oldest to newest. And you're going to still see those search hits in the body of the document, but not in the title. And then you can filter over here. So if I knew I was looking for something on the K drive, I could just click K drive and it would limit search results there. And I could also limit by the type of document here. So another time I remember looking for something, I was looking for an invoice. I had a client email me asking about the status of an invoice that hadn't been paid. And I did similar search again, looked in ProLaw, couldn't find it. Had to email my secretary, has this invoice, have you seen this invoice? Has it gone out? And that just a lot of extra time spent on that. And for me, it was really the cumulative effect of that. I can give examples, looking for a brief, looking for an invoice. And then when it adds up and you're doing it multiple times a day or multiple times a week, it's really a lot of time wasted. So if I would have had MetaJure, I could have just typed in the invoice number up here. Type in invoice number, hit find it, and you can see immediately I just got 2 results. I can tell the first one's an email, tell the second one's a PDF. So this PDF, that is the invoice number I want. I'm gonna open this and show you guys. So this is an example of a scanned document that was MetaJure OCR'd. So, and that's optical character recognition. That makes the body of the document searchable, whereas typically a scanned PDF, you can only search by the title of the document. So I see that invoice number right up there that I was looking for. And so this is something that without MetaJure working in the background to OCR it, I would not have found this document. To go back to the search, what I really love about MetaJure is that since it is looking everywhere and it's looking at shared email, if attorneys or staff members choose to share their emails, I also found an email with that invoice number in it. And looking at that, I can see that someone sent out an email asking about the payment status. Please review your records and let me know the payment status of the attached invoices. So I'm finding out everything there is to find out about that invoice number at my firm with just one search. So then finally, I know we have some litigators here today, and I litigated. I spent a lot of time in a courtroom, and I think MetaJure would have been so valuable for me to have in the courtroom. And I know many of our clients use it there today, whether they're in the courtroom or in a deposition, at a hearing or in trial, because we can get it set up from mobile phones and tablets so that you can instantly search all of your firm's information no matter where you are. And I have one instance I remember. I was in trial. It was a trial I second chaired, and we had retained an expert witness, a doctor, and we had asked him not to write a report. In the end, we'd asked him, don't write a report, but we were going to have him testify. And he came into the courtroom waving around his report, literally walked in waving this report, and opposing counsel objected. and said, you never produced this report to us. So we had never seen the report because we asked the doctor not to write a report, but I guess he did anyways and never gave it to us. So the judge was mad at us. We ended up, we had to take our recess for the rest of the afternoon. He couldn't testify that afternoon. And I had to actually leave court right away and go back to the office and draft briefing on this. And what I really needed to find was I needed to look everywhere at our firm, all the emails, all the documents, and prove to the judge that we asked this doctor not to write a report. And it's a good example because I was working, I was second chairing it. The partner was on the case. We had paralegals involved, a lot of different people at the firm involved. I was using Practice Master at that time. Not everything makes it into Practice Master. And we needed every email, every letter, all documentation related to this issue. And if we would have had MetaJure, I could have, if I had it on my laptop there, I could have just searched right then and there and seen everything at the firm, and really probably could have just nipped it in the bud right there and not had to recess for the day and submit all this extra briefing. But we did not have that tool when I practiced. So it would have been really, really valuable to have. So with that, those are a few examples, and I think I'll turn it back over to Dan now to wrap up.
Great. Thank you, Stephanie. It's great to hear about MetaJure from a lawyer perspective. Well, we have a few more minutes, so I wanted to check in with Leslie and see if we've got some questions that have come in.
Thanks, Dan. Actually, we have about 5 or 6 questions that came in as Stephanie was talking, and so let me go ahead and read a couple of these to you. And Aaron, you might want to take this first one. It's about Illuminate, and the question is: Can Illuminate search include both files and documents inside a document management system and the emails outside of it too?
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm happy to contribute here. So yes, Illuminate, that's really the basic idea behind it, is that it can not only search what's the documents inside of the DMS, but then also grab all the way down into somebody's inbox with select folders that have been designed to sync into MetaJure, right? And be able to query live information from somebody's inbox as well. So it's the umbrella concept. We're not just going to search in one specific repository. We're going to be able to search in all the document repositories for the firm within MetaJure.
Oh,
I think that answers it. Is that good?
That sounds good. We have another question that just came in from the audience. Let me just throw this out, and either Dan or Aaron, one of you might want to take this one. And the question is, how does MetaJure handle duplicate files or emails?
So I can answer that. So basically, what happens is we actually will detect duplicate files and emails. So when you run your search, you're really only seeing results. You're seeing that document or email once. But you'll get a little link which will show duplicate documents and emails. So you can always click there and see where the duplicates reside, and it'll show you exactly where they're at, because you might want to clean up duplications. You'll see the complete folder path where the information is. But what's nice is you only see it once, and we detect duplicates not by the name of the file or the email subject. We're looking at the specific content, exact character match. Okay.
Hopefully that answers it, and if not, well, I'm sure we'll see some additional questions. Thanks, Dan.
Great.
Here's another question that came in. Does MetaJure index both the email message and attached documents? Does it preserve some kind of link between them?
Sure, I can answer that. Yes, we're gonna index both. But what we actually do is we separate out the attachment from the email to separately OCR and index that. But yes, we are preserving that relationship. That's still always preserved, and you can open up an email you find in through MetaJure and open it up, and you'll see it in Outlook with the attachments too.
Great. Aaron, here's one for you. How does this handle e-discovery?
Great question, Leslie. So this is one of the big benefits of MetaJure in particular is that we can select a whole folder with a huge discovery set, and we can point MetaJure at it to automatically go in and OCR and index and really catalog all that information so that we can search against it. So while MetaJure is not a full-blown e-discovery solution per se, mainly in the sense that we can't kind of redact and do Bates labeling and all that dreadful stuff like that through it for productions, we can use it to cull through large sets of data and be able to search across all those discovery docs that we might get very easily. And I would add, we don't have to load those documents into another document management system and kind of mess up the whole case file and load in a bunch of discovery documents. That just makes it kind of hard to look for the current pleading maybe that I'm working on. So it's a really nice, tidy solution. Load it up into your shared drive, put the discovery there, point MetaJure at it, and voila, you can search it.
Awesome, thank you. Here's another one. Aaron, this looks like it might be one for you. There's can MetaJure OCR all legacy documents that we currently have on our S drive?
Okay. Well, common question, and really the answer is the same thing that I just described for e-discovery or kind of a discovery set. So really, anytime we have a folder or even a drive on our server with documents in it, we can point MetaJure at that folder of documents, and it will walk through all the documents, indexing them, OCRing them, making them searchable. So the answer is absolutely yes. MetaJure can go through all those legacy documents back on the S drive in particular.
That's great. What if we want to exclude certain data locations from being indexed, i.e. HR drive? Dan, do you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah, sure, I can take that. So what's nice is that the firm can decide where MetaJure is going to point to, just like Aaron was explaining. Where the information is, MetaJure will be directed to point to that. But you don't have to have MetaJure point to everything. And we do have some firms that have wanted to exclude certain data locations, like the HR drive is a great example. Some firms will have like a sensitive information on personnel information on an HR drive. They just don't want it indexed at all. So that's fine. We just don't point to it, so it doesn't get collected and indexed.
That's great. I've got a couple of questions here about Boolean searches, which is interesting because we've got several people asking about that. Does MetaJure support Boolean searches? That's probably the quickest question.
Can I hop in there and answer this one?
Sure.
All right.
Go for it.
The answer is yes. Yes, it does. So we love that Boolean search, or if we don't like that word, let's just call it advanced searching. Really the same searching that you would do within Westlaw or LexisNexis for scanning through a huge amount of legal research. We can use those same concepts to search through all of the documents stored in MetaJure. And the reason I like hitting on this in particular is that MetaJure is designed to really scan an enormous amount of data. We're not going to break it by putting too much data. It's only going to get better and better. And so the more data in there, the more power we have in searching across all that data. And of course, we need to have some advanced searching. So absolutely, yes, we can do that advanced Boolean searching. And like I said, really do a great job with that in MetaJure. We want more data, not less. And it's a great way to search through it. For those of you guys who don't know Boolean, sorry to get too technical here, a little nerdy, it's where we specify an and or an or operator and say, I want to search for these two terms, but only show them to me when they're within 3 words of each other, and all kinds of advanced commands like that to take our basic word-only searches and make them very powerful to hone in on the documents we need.
Well, that's great. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. That's it for the questions. We're just about out of time, so let me turn it back to you.
All right. Well, I'll just keep talking. So thank you, Leslie. Like I said there, thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Dan and Stephanie. It's a terrific job. I appreciate you communicating all the value there. And thank you so much for all attending this. We're pretty excited about MetaJure and MetaJure Illuminate, and really not just because it's good software, but what it does for clients. And it really makes lawyers be able to practice law more effectively. And at the end of the day, I might like technology a lot, and some lawyers might like technology a lot too, but really it's about practicing law and winning for clients and in the courtroom, right? So we want to equip your success on that front, and MetaJure is just a really straightforward, powerful way to equip you with good, actionable data to win cases, right? So a little bit more on some of those wins that we're seeing from cases, saving that valuable time, being able to search across multiple directories and not have to, search one way in one application and then another way in another, but just bringing it all into one central repository for searching. And then likewise, just not having to recreate lost documents. Might sound like a simple problem, but we all know it's a big problem that costs both law firms and clients lots of money. So MetaJure is a great solution. So that being said, fill in the gaps on any other value points you see. We'd love to talk more about this. We will be sending a link with a recording of the webinar next day or so we can share this information, and if you wanted to share it with others in your firm, you're more than welcome to. If we didn't get your question, our apologies. Obviously, we took a few of those. We will contact you directly and follow up. But even then, don't wait. We'd love to start the conversation today. Please email us, reach out to us. Like you said, you will be receiving an email with a link to the recorded webinar here. But let's chat more about this and continue the conversation about what effective searching for documents through MetaJure will do for your practice. So once again, thank you everybody for putting this on, and then most importantly, thank you all out there attending this for your dedicated attention. We hope you found this valuable.